Coming to you live once again from the Bonfire Studios North. It's another episode of Toros Weekly. I am your host, Peter Theodos, and joining me as always is Mr. Ken Oda. Ken.
You always call me Mr., but anyway.
Mr. Ken Oda, that's what you are. Ken, interesting weekend this weekend. We had the Energy jerseys, which were a great success. From a hockey standpoint, a lot of good, some bad. Some frustrating stuff also.
Second weekend in a row with a split with a team below us in the standings, probably not what Marty and the guys would want. And then bounced back, I thought, it's a shame to only get 1 point last night. Probably deserved better. I thought we were the better team for 2/3 of that game, but that was one of the best regular season hockey games we've seen at the Mason in a long time.
That was a fantastic game, going all the way down to those 0.6 seconds. We'll talk to the man that scored that goal here in a little bit. But right now, I want to bring in the man that led that team last night. Fans, welcome to the show, head coach, Marty Murray.
Thanks for having me, Peter. I know your show's about 3 months old. You're scraping the bottom of the barrel now and finally invite me on.
Exactly, yeah. We were going to have you on earlier, but...
You big-timed us on the first episode.
I did, yeah. I had something going on. I can't remember what I did, but...
It's a great thing you had Shane to fill in for you.
Wags fill in very well.
So we'll just go ahead and ask, what were your thoughts of the weekend and then on Tuesday?
Well, like Ken said, we came out of it 1-1-1, and the Wilderness were a team that's chasing us in the standings. They're fighting for their playoff lives, and we talked about an opportunity for us to spread that lead out in the double digits, and we accomplished what we wanted to on Friday night, and then unfortunately Saturday we didn't get the effort we needed, and give up a goal in the 59th minute like we did last night. That sealed the win for them. So it was a little disappointing in that regard to get beat on Saturday, but I thought we responded well for the last 50 minutes of the game last night. I thought we were a little dopey in the first 10 minutes, got down 2-0, which is hard to come back against a team like Aberdeen. But I was real pleased with our game. The last 6-7 minutes of the first period, I thought we gained some momentum. Then our second period, I thought was real strong. I don't think they had a shot until about 8 minutes left in the second period there. So I thought we really responded and then played with a lot of confidence and had a lot of jam in our game. And from a fans' point of view, I'm sure it was an exciting game. It was on the bench at ice level for sure.
How big was it to have AJ step up the way that he did this weekend and last night after Benny was unable to go?
Yeah, you know what? You're going to rely on everybody throughout the year. I mean, it's a long season of 60-plus games and 9 months of hockey. There's going to be injuries and it's opportunities for guys to step up and play. And I thought AJ gave us a chance to win. I thought he's really good on Friday night when we beat the Wilderness 2-1. There's probably one back there, or one he'd like to have back there on Saturday if that one from the red line. But last night again, I thought he'd give us a chance to win, and that's all you can ask of your backup goalie.
Fans, if you have questions for Marty, go ahead and send them in. Comment on the Facebook Live video. Let us know. But I've got one, Marty. Last night, the goal with 0.6 of a second left in regulation to force overtime. That reminded me a lot of 2 years ago when that team, the 2017-18 team that went all the way to the championship game, that team seemed to never quit, always keep fighting back. I think Alex Adams had one with like 0.8 of a second left in a game about this time that year that kind of started the turnaround after the team had struggled in the middle portion of the season. It felt a lot like 2 years ago.
No, it did. There was definitely a playoff atmosphere in the rink last night, and it was crushing to give that goal up with 1 minute and 30 seconds or whatever it was, or 1 minute and 5. But our guys responded. We played right to the wire, and just a good shot through traffic by Krull, and it went in. So it was good to see us at least get to overtime. Like you said, it would have been nice to have 2. And I'm obviously biased. I thought we probably deserved the 2 points last night, but something to build on against a good Aberdeen team as well.
You mentioned it being that good Aberdeen team on the other side. Even though you lose the shootout, do you think that helps build confidence with some of the guys? That if last night showed anything, it's that we could play with anyone.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing about our division. I mean, every night, regardless if a team's in first or last, it's a battle, and you got to be ready to play. And for us, we didn't come out ready to play last night, and I think we we finally woke up before it was too late, and we realized we're probably going to get embarrassed if we didn't. Aberdeen's, kind of the heavyweight of our division right now, at least as standings go. And I thought we, really pushed hard, and I liked our second, third efforts on pucks, and we didn't have too many one and dones in the last 2/3 of the game.
A lot of guys playing their first junior year, a young team. I think probably only 4 or 5 guys who are going to age out. After the Christmas break, you feel like it's turning. Guys aren't necessarily rookies anymore.
That's the message I try to get across to them. Either you have 30 plus games under your belt, you're not really a rookie anymore. You know the ins and outs of the league and what it takes to be successful at our level, and we play the same team so many times over. The personnel, the style of play. So there's really no surprises this second half of the season. It's about taking care of yourself, and executing a game plan.
Last week, just the tragedy of Jay losing his mom, the team traveling to go to the service on Thursday. Things like that seem like they could either bring a team together or become a big distraction. How do you feel the team is dealing with it? I know a lot of the guys were from that area as well, so it wasn't like Jay was the only one affected.
Yeah, no question. It was just a heartbreaking phone call to receive from Jay. That Sunday morning that his mom had passed, and you just feel so bad for him, and we obviously told him to go home and take as much time as we needed, but a lot of the people, or a few of the guys off our team, grew up in the Fargo-Moorhead area, so they have a connection with the family as well. So it was more than just Jay's family affected, and I think it affected our group in many ways, and we felt obligated, and we wanted to be there to support Jay to go down to the service and just be a presence, where we consider ourselves one big family. These are family for 9 months away from their away from their when they leave home. We felt it was important for us to be there, and even though it was the night before a game, we got home at 2 a.m. That was more important.
For sure.
Obviously, you had a very successful playing career yourself. What was some of your favorite places to play and some of your favorite memories of playing professional hockey?
There's so many. You dream when you're a little boy of, maybe playing in the NHL, and I had the opportunity to live that, and, being a Canadian kid playing on Hockey Night in Canada on a Saturday night in Toronto or Montreal was a pretty cool experience. To be in all those arenas with legendary, the history that's behind them, and played against. I played in an interesting era where I got to play against the likes of Gretzky and Lemieux and all the way up to Crosby. So I saw a broad spectrum of players, and I got to play against a lot of those guys, and it was pretty special, and try to get off the ice and not make Sports Center.
Was there any difference that you saw in playing from the NHL to when you played overseas in Europe?
It's a different brand of hockey. First of all, the ice is bigger over there, so it's a lot more skating, and maybe you have a little more time with the puck to make your decisions. It's a different brand of hockey, where the NHL and the pro level in North America is maybe a little, things come at you a little quicker. And obviously when you're in the NHL, you're playing against the best in the world too, right? So the talent level's a little different from Europe, but I enjoyed every second of it. I had the privilege to call it a job for 15 years, and felt very fortunate to do that, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Favorite player you ever had to play with and against?
Like I said, I got to play against Wayne Gretzky my first year in Calgary, and growing up as a young boy in the hockey world, Wayne Gretzky was a god. So
yeah.
I got to take a couple face-offs against him, and he was winding down his career a little bit, but just to be on the ice with the best player to ever lace him up was pretty cool. And played with a lot of great teammates. You look back and the flurries in Calgary, and the lineup we had in Philadelphia with John LeClaire and Mark Recchi and Jeremy Roenick, Tony Amonte, those type of guys, and then Ron Francis in Carolina, Rod Brindamore, Rob Blake in LA. Those are some guys that you you kind of idolize, and they're Hall of Famers, and to sit in the locker room with those guys and on a daily basis is pretty cool, and you realize that they're genuine people, they're great people, and I was pretty lucky to be able to call it my job for a while.
You mentioned having played in LA and having played in Europe. A couple of Toros alum have gotten similar experiences over the last year. Andre Pavo playing for his country over in the World Juniors, which is a tournament that you obviously had a great deal of success in, and now Blake Lizotte playing for the LA Kings, a team that you played for. As a coach now, what is it like to see some of our alum guys that you coached for a short period of time going on and having that kind of success?
I mean, it's unbelievable to see not only those two, but a large number of our players having success, whether it be in the world of hockey or just in the business world, and we feel it's important for us to not only recruit good hockey players, but good people as well, and we're proud of the tradition we've had here the last 8-9 years, and you talk about Pav making his World Junior team. I mean, to play for your country is pretty special, and I was able to watch a few games over the course of the Christmas break, and I thought he did real well. He played his role to a T, just like we'd expect Pav to do, and I texted him after he got home and just told him how proud we were of him and Minot, and he showed himself real well. So he's definitely trending the right way. I wouldn't be surprised if he was another guy we're watching on TV down the road, just the way he plays. As for Blake, I mean, how can you not root for that guy? He's got a heart of a lion and undersized, but I mean, he just perseveres in everything he does. And I'm sure he's been told since he's been 7-8 years old that he can't do it because he's too small, but here he is. And I was looking at some stats last night. I think he's 1 point out of being out of the top 20 in the league as far as rookie scoring. So it's a pretty special story, and just an all-around good kid that doesn't have an ego by any means, and he just goes out and works hard and wants to be a hockey player every day.
Having had that experience playing overseas and going to a different country to play, have you given any advice to like Villy or Isaac or Wilhelm about playing here in the States and just the transition of playing in a different country?
Like we talked about, it's a different brand of hockey, where they come from. And, I can especially see it with, skilled guys like Isaac where, they probably have a little more time in Europe than they're used to here. I'm sure as coaches, if they're anything like me in our division, we talk about taking away time and space. So it's probably a little bit of a shock for guys that, have the puck a lot and the amount of pressure they're receiving. So it's a bit of a change for sure. And outside of the rink too, I think it's just the culture of living in a new country. They all speak very good English, which helps, and our guys really have taken them under their wing. But, being away from home and not being able to see family and friends for a long time can take its toll. And we're lucky we have a good group of kids here that support them, and they really get along as a group.
What's been the most difficult thing you've faced as a coach on the ice and off the ice?
I mean, on the ice, making it to the final of the Robertson Cup and coming up 1 goal short. You think about we scored, 200 goals over the course of the season. Why can't we just get 1 or 2, to go in to win a championship? But I was awfully proud of that group that year. Just a special group that came together, and we'll go through a wall for each other. And off the ice, I mean, it's things like what happened to Jay last week, and we feel like we're responsible for these kids when they're in Minot, and we want to be there for them, and so that's definitely one of the biggest ones. And on a personal personal note, we're away a lot of weekends, so I miss a lot of my kids' things too, which takes its toll. But technology is amazing these days too, which with FaceTime Live or whatever, you can see some of the events. But that's some of the things kind of behind the scenes that make my job difficult, but it's kind of what I signed up for, and I'm thankful my family supports me in what I do.
Yeah, one of the other things I think you would probably say makes your job difficult is the trade deadline's coming up about 3 weeks out now. Obviously, a young group, a group that I think you like, but it seems like every year there's an addition made around the trade deadline. I imagine you're looking to do the same this year?
Yeah, that's another good point. It's always one of the most difficult things, not only the trade deadline, but maybe even cutting players is very difficult because you get attached to them, and they're all good kids, and we have restrictions on how many players we can keep and deadlines to meet, and that's really the job that is the toughest, going in and telling a kid that he's no longer here, because I've sat in that chair before. I've been released and cut before, and it's not fun, and it's hard to come up with things to say to make him feel better, but that's a big part of it. As far as the trade deadline goes, we're always up to making our team better, and sometimes things come along that you don't expect. So we'll see what happens here in the next couple of weeks, and address some maybe concerns we have, but our hope is that our guys continue to grow and develop, and we can have that trust they'll do the job when it counts.
Yeah, how much has being able to dress 21 instead of 20 affected the roster decisions you make over the course of the season?
I think it's a nice little thing to have this year, having that extra body to dress. I think if you might lose one or two defensemen in a game, or one or two forwards, and then all of a sudden your bench is really short. So, and then you talk about some of the inexperience we have. Typically, we dress 7 defensemen. So if a guy's having a rough night, then we have kind of a little bit of a backup there, and so it's nice to have that as kind of an insurance policy. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I think it kind of takes a little bit of pressure off the coaches having that extra body, and I usually, like I said, we have the seven defensemen dress, so that responsibility's passed down to Wags as far as rotating and get everybody. So my job's pretty simple up front with the even numbers.
First and foremost, congratulations. At the beginning of the year, you were named to the Manitoba Hall of Fame. But what does that mean to you as a player, being recognized and elected into that Hall of Fame?
Well, it's a tremendous honor to be nominated and then named to the Manitoba Hockey Hall of Fame, and it just makes you think of all the people that helped you along the way. I know my parents sacrificed a ton, whether it be time or financially, to help me reach my goals, and I'm forever grateful for that. And obviously, since I've been married, my wife has followed me around since my second or third year of pro, and so I think for me it was kind of a time to not make it not so much about me, but just everybody that kind of helped me through my career. From a personal standpoint, I felt like it was a team thing, not just me.
All right, well, we know you've got a meeting you have to be at fairly soon, so we'll let you get out of here. Thanks for coming down.
Fans, that's head coach Marty Murray.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Marty.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring on our second guest, the guy that tied the game up last night with 0.6 of a second.
And got the offense going with the first of the night,
And
too.
he did, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Will Kroll to Toros Weekly.
Thanks for having me.
Just throw on the headset if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
First time on the show.
Yes.
So, obviously scoring 2 goals last night, huge for the team. You had the game-tying goal. We talked in the rink about your first one, but what did you see in that tying one? Like, running down and all that?
Well, I saw the puck pop out a little bit, and I saw I could like skate in and get a shot off, so I just got it and ripped it on net, just hoping it would get through.
Yeah, both of your goals, the first one, it looked like he made the save. It just kind of fell out of his glove and trickled over the line, and that second one just barely kind of trickled through. What's going through your head from after you shoot the puck until it, because those were so weird, it wasn't like they were obvious goals right off the bat. Like, what were you thinking? Did you even have time to think?
I was just hoping it went in, because like I saw everyone freeze and like celebrate. I'm like, is that me, or did someone tip it? Like I didn't know if it was me or not, so I was just confused mostly.
How hard, because you missed a bunch of time at the beginning of the year, was it readjusting to being able to play, being with the team and all that?
Well, it was really easy. The guys were really, really good. They're like really like welcoming and just supportive for me coming back. And then the hardest part was just getting back in shape, because I hadn't skated in I think it was like a month and a half or something like that. And I came back and then had to work with Kev for a while, and just had me running laps, doing bike, just really worked me hard.
How great is it to have Kev in the training room and working your guys' workout programs?
Oh, it's awesome. I go to them every single day because I got hurt my arm, got the concussion, so I always have something. I'm always hurt a little bit because I'm super skinny, so I always get banged up. So it's always really nice to have Kevin there to help me out.
Is there any sort of fear when you're skating that you're going to get another concussion or hurt your arm again? And what kind of mental barriers and blockages have you overcome?
Well, I think I was gone enough time that I kind of like got past it, you know, like I wasn't really that gun shy coming back, but after I hurt my arm a little bit, it was a little tough because like I didn't have the full range of motion with my arm, so that one has been tougher than the concussion. So I've really just had to like put pads on it to try to like just stick handle a lot more just to feel confident with my arm.
Now, you had that long time off pretty much right after the showcase. You know, how much harder was it coming in, making that adjustment from high school hockey to junior, and then basically having to jump in after guys had already had 2 or 3 months to get used to it? Did you feel like you were behind a little bit when you first came back?
I actually didn't. I felt worse at the beginning of the season. Like the adjustment period, I wasn't very good. And then after I worked with like Kevin for a while, and like I felt like my legs were like a lot stronger. Like I was more in shape, and coming back after the concussion felt way easier than coming in at the start of the year.
Really?
Yeah, it did. I don't know why. It just felt a lot easier.
You know, you guys are coming off a really long homestand here. Now, granted, there were some home or away games in Bismarck, but you guys were just making day trips down there. What adjustments are you going to have to make to actually playing an overnight trip this weekend to Austin?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably go to bed a little bit earlier. I kind of stay up too late after games because I can't sleep all that adrenaline, so I'm just going to try and force myself to go to bed.
Yeah. Do those long bus trips, how much do those wear on the guys? Do you feel like the morning skate on Friday, legs are a little heavy, or does spending pretty much all day Thursday on the bus not really bother you guys? Yeah, you guys are a lot younger than I am. The bus isn't as hard on you, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the bus is kind of tough, but it's pretty much just like a whole day to sleep and get rest for the weekend, just kind of prepare. But then Friday morning, my legs definitely do feel a little bit heavy, but I think that's what morning skate's for.
How nice is it to have the bus that we do, to where you have those big first class recliner seats in the front and then the beds in the back? How nice is that as a player to travel in?
Oh, it's really nice. It makes sleeping a whole lot easier. You can like recline and sleep, or you can get a bunk and sleep. So I think our situation for sleeping is really good.
Who I know you guys usually have NHL tournaments with I think Xbox up there.
Yeah.
Who's the best on the team and who's the worst on the team?
Oh, I think
Like who could I beat if I jumped in on that?
Oh, you could probably beat Russ. Russ isn't very good. And then I think the best would have to be OC. OC can run the
Really?
table. Yeah, he's good.
What other routines do you do that differently from the road than you would on a home game?
Well, when I'm at home, I always eat the same things. I have Jimmy John's for lunch, and then I have butter noodles before the game. But I can't do that when I'm away, so I kind of just have to bring butter noodles with me and keep them in the refrigerator and then heat those up. But then for lunch, just kind of have to like eat whatever I have. But kind of throws me off a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal.
I think we can arrange some Jimmy John's since we're both going to be there this weekend, Ken.
Yeah, I actually, for what it's worth, I usually end up ordering Jimmy John's on the road because I get sick of the big bowls of pasta at all the pregame meals. So I usually skip the team lunch and order Jimmy John's. So if you ever want in on that, just come knock on my door.
What's been the biggest adjustment that you've made here recently?
Recently, I would say just getting back to pucks quicker, because I think that's like helped my game a lot. Just getting to the puck quicker, so I have more time with the puck to make a play, and then that just kind of helps my whole game.
You know, you guys are in the hunt for this playoff stretch right now. You're 3 points away from second place. What are some predictions and what adjustments do you need to make to get that jump into a higher seed for the playoffs?
I don't know. I think if we play the way we did last night, I think we'll be in the playoffs 100%. Because the way we played, like we were buzzing Aberdeen the whole time, and that's supposed to be the best team in our division. We took it to them.
You know, you've been interviewed on the bench a couple of times since you've come back, and what I like about your interviews is you don't seem to lack for confidence. I think last night the exact quote was, "We can play in their zone all night." You know, is that something you try to bring to the room, that confidence, and
Yeah.
help the other guys feel like that? Because we've been doing those interviews on the bench now for 2 or 3 years, and I don't know that I've ever heard anyone just with as much confidence and as much faith in the team as you have when you're out there, just or at least certainly not willing to come out and just say it, right in the middle of the stadium where all the fans and the other team can hear, like, oh yeah, we're gonna play in their zone all night. It was great. I loved it.
Well, I think confidence is a big part of my game, and I try and bring that to like the team a little bit, because like playing with confidence is huge. Because if you're playing scared out there, you're not gonna have a good game. You're not gonna win.
All right, fans. That's a very confident and passionate Mr. Will Kroll. Will, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, fans. As I said, that's Will Kroll. Ken, first road trip since December 13th and 14th for the Toros. And ironically, they're both to Austin.
Yeah, it's funny. Austin's actually one of my favorite road trips. The TJ and the rest of their crew do a great job. They take care of us. The hotel is fantastic. The pregame meals are great. And actually, like I said, the hotel is it's great. They have a restaurant built in. They usually get us extra rooms late. So the trip to Austin's always good. And the hockey's usually pretty good against Austin. Usually fun games, so I'm looking forward to that. The only downside to the trip to Austin is it is, 10 hours on the bus plus stops for meals and whatnot. So it's a longer trip.
Yeah.
And your first long trip with the team.
Exactly, yeah. And it just so happens Austin's coming in hot right now. So
Yes, they're rolling. Dante Sheriff has been the Central Division Player of the Week 3 weeks in a row. So definitely going to have to try and find an answer for him. Should be good games, and they're important games. Austin's moved up to second in the division. You take 4 points out of the weekend, and suddenly we could, depending on how Bismarck and Aberdeen do, we could be moving up out of the third. Yeah, moving up out of fourth place. So a very big weekend of hockey, and I think it'll be good for this group to get on the road.
I think it will be too. All right, fans.
One other thing before we go. We just announced today on Facebook, we are looking for Minot superheroes. Not the kind who wear capes and fly around, but we want to know your everyday superheroes, people who have made a difference in the Minot community. Our superhero night has been a big promotion that's grown every year. Just as always, we're encouraging fans on January 31st to come out dressed as their favorite superhero. We'll be giving out the superhero masks at the front door just like we did last year. All the usual fun stuff, but as people love to say, not all heroes wear capes. That's very much the case here in Minot. We know there are hundreds of people out in the Minot community who are doing awesome things. We want to hear about it. Go to our Facebook page, go to our Twitter feed, or just go to the website, gotoros.com. There's a little picture there you click on. We are looking for the people who are making a difference in Minot, the real-life superheroes. We want to honor them. Our friends at Liberty Tax are going to help out with that. We'll be announcing more details soon, but get those nominations in before next Wednesday, because we want to support these people as they work to make Minot a better place.
I agree. All right, fans. Once again, that's another episode of Tours Weekly. For Ken Oda, Mr. Sean Bachoven, who always does a fantastic job behind the scenes, I'm Peter Theodos. Until next time.